back in Austin, ready now for the 10,000 meter final. Sam Chalanga from 13 years ago has the collegiate record. Patrick Deaver of Tulsa with the meet record. There is Dylan Jacobs, a favorite, no doubt. The defending champion from Tennessee, finally a senior. Like everything else, 24 athletes in the field.
You mentioned Dylan Jacobs, the defending champion, won it last year with Notre Dame, grad transfer to the University of Tennessee. Followed his Notre Dame coach Sean Carlson to Knoxville to compete his final year of eligibility with the Volunteers.
"25 laps of this 400-meter oval. 81 degrees, 61% humidity. Not ideal conditions for a 10,000 meters. So we'll have to see how the pace shakes out as you see the competitors go by. Our list of competitors. 12 from the East Regional at Jacksonville, Florida 2 weeks ago, and 12 from Sacramento 2 weeks ago.
First lap 65.8 over that opening 400 meters.
So pretty honest as you see the field stringing out reasonably well. Jacobs winning the 5,000 meters at the conference meet 3.5 weeks ago in Baton Rouge, where it wasn't quite this hot, but it was humid. We had thunderstorms all in the area, so a higher humidity, but not the heat.
Also in good position, you're seeing right there in third, very tall, wearing the dark red, that is Patrick Kiprop of the University of Arkansas. Well familiar with battling Dylan Jacobs, certainly. Also behind him, that's Victor Kiprop of Alabama. And Dwight, I know you mentioned that Dylan Jacobs is a favorite, but there are so many guys that could win this championship. You're seeing right there 2 different Stanford athletes, certainly in that conversation. There's Kai Robinson up there. And then also, of course, Charles Hicks, who is the NCAA cross-country champion. Pretty consistent, another 65.8, so that's 27:25 pace currently to this point of the race. Dylan Jacobs looking really comfortable, sitting in about 5th position from what we can tell right here. And in talking with Sean Carlson, his coach, earlier today, he said, "We're very aware that it does not get easier to win another title. If anything, it gets harder to replicate such a special performance." But Dylan Jacobs is certainly a very special athlete. And one of the things that they noted was how the team tactics would come into play. We saw that indoors over 5,000 meters with Northern Arizona and how they utilized each other. So interesting to see how you're going to see a couple of athletes working together with their teammates. Also worth noting, that is Isai Rodriguez of Oklahoma State, who you just saw those bright orange shorts, really easy to identify. 66.1, so they've slowed just ever so slightly on that last lap as things are beginning to stretch out.
So still under 27:30 pace if they maintain this.
Here goes Rodriguez. This is much like he ran at the preliminary meet. He gets really anxious and likes to move for the front. His coach, Dave Smith, said that he was advising him to wait until a couple K into the race to make a move. Instead, he waited 1 lap.
As we get back to the 10,000, with just less than 21 laps remaining, they threw in a 65.3 lap on that last tour.
It's been James Mora from Gonzaga leading the majority of the race to this point, as I do believe that's Rodriguez moving now up into the pole position. Dylan Jacobs comfortably sitting there in 5th. And Isai Rodriguez had a turbulent 2022. He was involved in a fiery rollover crash. He was in the passenger seat. Former Oklahoma State wrestler and his good friend AJ Ferrari was driving. attempted to pass 3 vehicles on a 2-lane wet road and met a pickup truck head on.
Back to the 10,000 meters, coming up on 14 laps remaining.
Hey, Shames.
And through the 4,000 meter mark, they were at 11:15 on 28:07 pace. And one athlete that looks well positioned right now is Patrick Kiprop of Arkansas. He's been hanging out right there in second position behind Rodriguez, really running relaxed, and Dylan Jacobs has now moved into third. That's Victor Kiprop of Alabama. As you can see, the athletes have the option of grabbing some water on the back stretch because of these very toasty conditions that they're enduring. Also moving really well through this part of the race. That's Kai Robinson from Stanford. There you see Rodriguez, followed by Patrick Kiprop and Dylan Jacobs. Patrick Kiprop has really raced sparingly this outdoor season. Ran a 10K at Stanford, then ran the 5,000 at the SEC Championships, and then a 10K at regional. Arkansas head coach Chris Bucknam says that they really just wanted to be sure that they didn't over-race, with the sights set on contending for an NCAA 10K title. And Patrick Kiprop is running with a chip on his shoulder. Really feels like that he gets often overlooked and is looking to earn the respect and receive the respect in this event, and certainly looks well poised to do so right now. Dylan Jacobs incredibly comfortable. They threw in a couple of quick 400s just a few laps ago, right around 66 seconds. And now they've started to settle in and get comfortable as they head into the backstretch.
Let's shift very quickly over to the shot put. Turner Washington of Arizona State, leading the competition at 69 feet a half inch. This is his final throw. That is not going to be an improvement, but he's still leading. In fact, if they reversed the order, no, they did not, did they? They did. He's the winner. That was, so it was a foul, but he was kind of it was a freebie for him anyway. He's the only one over 21 meters in the field as we come around with now 12 laps remaining in this 10K.
And Isai Rodriguez has just continued to lead the majority of this race. He has been up front since the very beginning. Oklahoma State coach Dave Smith said on his best days he can run with the best, and he's looking to show that right here. He said he does not panic, has incredible belief in himself, and just no performance anxiety. Grabs a little water there off to the side. He described that as a superpower that Rodriguez has. He has looked, despite doing all the work up front, still looking incredibly comfortable. They're in first position. Kiprop in second of Arkansas, Jacobs of Tennessee, and now Kai Robinson has moved up into the conversations, and it is above 80 degrees at this point. It is 81 degrees with 61% humidity, and when you think about the conditions that Kai Robinson ran the World Cross Country Championships this year, it was in Australia. It was hot, humid, windy conditions, so not greatly unlike what he's experienced here. He was 23rd at the World Cross Country Championships earlier this year. That was back in February. The top Australian, the second collegian among that field.
All right, with a little less than 11 laps remaining, we will step aside once again. Lots of racing still left here in this 10,000 meters. All right, 7.5 plus laps remaining in this 10,000 meters. And the crowd, the lead group is starting to thin out a bit, but still a dozen people there, almost a dozen people. Kiprop looking very good. Dylan Jacobs still looking just fine. A lot of contenders for this title.
Absolutely. Everyone is in the conversation right now. The last few laps have hovered right around 70 seconds. It's been 69.6 and 70.4. As you see, Rodriguez continues to lead. It looks like he glanced up just a little bit at that video board to see exactly how much of a lead that he has been able to build. And then you see that's where Dylan Jacobs is, just ahead of Bob Liking of Wisconsin, as they go into 7 laps remaining in this race.
I hadn't seen Dylan Jacobs' face for a few laps, and now I can see that he is suffering. He is well off the lead group, probably about in 13th place. The defending champion having a tough time dealing with these conditions.
And then in third position, worth noting, that is Casey Klinger of BYU, directly behind Kiprop of Arkansas. And this is very much like how Casey Klinger ran at the regional meet. He hung back, worked his way up very gradually, and then worked pretty hard behind the finish of the race to get himself into position. Ed Eyestone, the message to Casey Klinger was conserve, position yourself, and kick. He said this will be a race of attrition, and Casey Klinger appears to have endured that pretty well to have himself among the top 3 with 6 laps to go. And if you remember, the last time the NCAA championship was here in Austin, BYU had 6 athletes in the men's 10K final, and they went on to finish 1, 3, and 4. So Austin has served BYU well. In fact, Ed Eyestone won one of his own, actually 2 of his own NCAA championships in Austin. Kiprop going up front and taking the lead as we have about 3.5 laps to go. That most recent lap was 69 seconds. This would be huge for Arkansas to get points, get big points in the 10,000 meters to get the ball rolling for their team title hopes. But Rodriguez has not gone away. He has responded incredibly well. And also worth noting, look who is right up there in the mix. The Stanford Cardinal, Charles Hicks, the NCAA cross-country champion, wearing the headband there. And everyone is in the thick of it at this point of the race. You've got 8, 9 guys who are right up there. This is going to turn out to be 9 guys. Thank you for the quick math, Dwight Stones. This is going to come down to an absolute brawl over the final 3 laps. Somebody has to make a move. Somebody's got to get bold and do something. And Rodriguez does that, squeaks by on the rail.
And they're going to start to lap runners, some of whom will move out, some of whom will not. 2.5 laps remaining. Kiprop now dropping back a bit and on the rail. Everybody just jockeying for position. You see how it's bunched up a bit. They've slowed it down, getting ready for these final 1,000 meters, which they're in right now. Rodriguez continuing to lead this group, which he has done for many laps. 2 laps remaining now. The time is really inconsequential. They started out running around 27-25. Now they're going to be likely over 28 minutes. Well, they will absolutely be over 28 minutes. Lots of 69s and 68s over the course of the last several laps. The heat really starting to take its toll. It really did so many, many laps ago.
Look at the response from Rodriguez. Mora tries to go around him as he was up front. These two have been in the mix, in the lead at the beginning, and now here with just over 2 laps to go. I don't know that anyone looks better right now than Charles Hicks, and he has his teammate Kai Robinson along for the ride right with him. Hicks looking incredibly poised as Robinson makes a move and goes to the front.
A bold move of the Stanford Cardinal there in first and third as they're coming to the bell lap. Kai Robinson, the junior from Australia, now in his sprint. Rodriguez covering the move.
63 seconds for that last lap.
Charles Hicks right there. Now he goes into second. It is the Cardinal 1-2. The fact that Rodriguez doing all that work for all those laps finally taking its toll. Robinson in a full sprint. Hicks trying to catch him. He definitely has another gear. And they are pulling away from the crowd. 18 points for the Cardinal if it continues to finish this way. Kai Robinson. And Charles Hicks, 1-2 in the 10,000 meters for Stanford.
What a blazing finish! The embrace between the teammates after a 54-second close. 1:57 last 800 meters for Kai Robinson and Charles Hicks. During the cross-country season, Charles Hicks was the first Stanford runner to win an NCAA individual cross-country title, and now Kai Robinson captures the 10,000-meter title.
We just watched Arkansas go 1-2 in the long jump, and a couple of minutes later, Stanford goes 1-2 in the 10K. Brad Hauser was the last Stanford Cardinal to win this title at the NCAA championships almost a quarter of a century ago.
Just a perfectly executed race. Look how much fun Kai Robinson is having as he celebrates that victory and carries Charles Hicks along with him. Glances over the shoulder, glances at the video board, stretches out the arms in victory. Kai Robinson, absolutely incredible.